welcome to Pagan Crafting. I'm your host, Kara. I'm your local art and green witch. Today, I'm going to be changing over my summer sea witch altar into my ancestral altar for this season of Samhain. As you see me cleaning off the shells and beads and little trinkets here and there, I made a mandala in some sand with some candles as well. But my cat, as you can see, decided to also assist me. And this is the first time he's ever been on my altar in his entire life. So interesting to see why. That little shell there got left to the side. I'm going to put that, I think, in with the Ancestral. That fell out, and that's one of the shells my grandmother picked. So I'm going to put that with my altar later on. What's in here? I think I leave myself notes. Oh, yes. This is black diamond willow bark. It's good for lighting, for use for saging. I was gifted that by my elder, as well as that tobacco and 4 sacred herb blend. This is wormwood from Vancouver Island. I thought I'd put that with my summer altar to remember back home in the ocean. These are little things that I've collected from back home near where I used to live on the island of Vancouver Island. I've had these for over 20, 30 years. This is a whale that I collected from there, and these are all little trinkets that was at my beach where I used to live right behind my house. And there's some hagstones that I collected throughout the times as well. Yeah, that's my rattle for journeying. And I collect cards, and I get cards at different grab bags and venues, and you can get free cards. But I always pick one card every changeover for my altar that I will use. So we'll pick a card there later. This is my blue heron driftwood adventurine wand, my first wand I ever received. My Athames. Looks like that one got a little wet. It sucks. Looks like it's getting a little bit tarnished. And I have crystals and whatnot on here. Of course, my horn. And I like to change over my horn stand every year. And now you could start seeing some orbs drop in. And you may have noticed some around the first minute mark. But in this next video, you're going to see a lot of orbs everywhere as I'm cleaning my altar. It is incredible. Even when I missed it, you can still see the orbs traveling. So pay attention. You're going to see a lot coming up. These are from the Wee Moon Gathering, and I used something for each of the directions for the elements. These are bags that I had for offerings for cedar, sacred tobacco, sweetgrass, and sage. These are acorns and pine cones from the graveyard I visited for where my grandfather and grandparents were buried. Boy, my altar gets messy. I build it up so pretty each season, but I add to it all season long. I have incense burning, so there's ashes to there. Gosh, I got some candle wax on here, and now this time my cat partied in the sand. I'm glad he didn't use it as a kitty litter, but I guess he just wanted to change some of the strokes, the mandalas that I put in, some little cat sand garden. Oh, look at that. Did you guys see that? See the orbs? Now what's behind the curtain of the Wizard of Oz is my black scurrying mirror. I keep this covered up at all times because I believe you are not supposed to put candles in front of any type of mirrors. I was taught that by an Indigenous elder when I was a teenager, that will bring in some spirits into the mirror and bad spirits. That's just something I was taught, and it's just something that has stuck with me. Now look at the orbs as I'm releasing the energy. This isn't just, this is going straight up in all different directions. And I was going to fast forward this part. Like, do you really need to see me vacuuming? No. But the orbs, they're everywhere. And this isn't just dust getting drawn up, because you'll see in a moment when I do some misting. Look at that. Then when I do misting, they don't even collapse. Look at the orbs. There's so many. Usually I only see these on my video on my Absolute Tarot channel when I do my readings. But I slowed down the, like, if I'm flicking the dust, it should be going out, but it's not. They're going every direction. I can't get over the orbs. This is so cool. They're just everywhere. So you want to give a physical and an energetic cleansing when you do an altar changeover. You don't have to, but I like to. I think it just kind of gives it a fresh start of new energy. I like to change my altar by the seasons. So sometimes I change it every couple months. Sometimes it's every 4 months. This is a chakra spray that I've designed. It has peppermint and sweetgrass in it. And you can see as I'm misting, the orbs are still pushing through. Look at that. See, that little guy made it through. If that was dust particles, that would have just fallen. Whoop, there's another one. There's some more. Oh, I was so glad after I saw this video that I was like, oh my gosh, look at the orbs. I'm glad I didn't bother any of them. Now sweetgrass, you can't distill it into an essential oil, so I guess the one that I bought is kind of a fake, so maybe it didn't totally cleanse everything away, but anything negative can go away. Anything that is there to stay for good can hang out with me. I like to do a little sound cleanse, and I will pick a different chakra bowl for each season as well. Sometimes I go by the color, sometimes I go by the feeling of the chakra that is needed for myself for the next month or so. We'll see if those little Orbeez are happy now. Oh, they're just playing. So now I sped up this part. And the orbs are just still flying everywhere. I'm just laying down some different leather pieces I have from crafting. I just feel like a little different look than just black underneath my altar this season. I want to pulling down the leather pieces because I don't want to get any candle wax on my craft leather. I don't mind on that black piece I have in the background. Popping off the old candle wicks and setting out some new ones. Picking a new stand. I love this horn. I got it from Ragnar the Trader. He does a lot of trade shows, and he is an amazing vendor that makes all his own horns, rune sets. I own a rune set of his. I have a pin of his, and I have one of his drinking horns. Oh, and a drinking cup as well. Oh, I have a few items from him. Little lantern to light the way. My bones for reading, for divination. I know those stones that I put in front of the antler is actually petrified wood. I thought that would be fitting for ancestral time to preserve the memory. Those Ukrainian cups represent my mother's side of the family. My offering plate, I have the 4 blue candles for each of the main moon phases coming up for this month. Orange candle for the month. There is my grandfather in that jar and some graveyard dirt. And that's my stepdad over there. Some offerings of sage, some pine cones from the graveyard. You know, always like to either choose a card or pick a card. I'll choose a card straight up, and I would like one card in particular, which I received. The Death card, new beginnings, a birth of creative possibilities coming my way. Out with the old and in with the new. Adding some crystals to my altar, some clear quartz, some poppy pods and seeds, an offering for the dead. The shell for my grandmother can hang out with her husband, my grandfather. My earth, air, fire, water, crystals. All right, good evening. So, I had to do an extra after editing. My goodness, that video, all the orbs when I was cleaning and vacuuming and cleansing and oh my, and rearranging, the orbs were incredible. So let's see what the camera picks up again here. I have a few things that I like to do, and I'm going to be adding to a few things that I do this year. So what I'm going to do, I have a little bountiful horn here, and I have included a paintbrush for myself to represent the artistry of my daughter and myself and my mom. I have a wooden spoon to represent my grandfather, who was a baker. He was also in the Navy as a cook. My grandfather, same one, was also a carpenter, so I have a wooden handled screwdriver. This also represents my other grandfather from the farm as well, because he was a jack of all trades. I have wheat in here, and that represents the farmer side of my mom's side, as well as I have some twine here before my grandfather's farm was sold and before he passed away May 2006. My daughter was born September 2006, so he just missed meeting the oldest the first great grandchild. So I have that to represent the farm, the lineage, how old that twine from the bale hay is old as it was. I also have a little shovel here, if you can see it. This little shovel represents the gardener for my grandmother, both grandmothers. One was a gardener, one was a flower gardener, one was a vegetable gardener. Both my mother, myself, and my daughter love gardening, so it's a representation to throw it all in there. I have some sage here that I picked from the Alberta Badlands. This is not white California sage. This is Alberta buffalo sage. And it is such a treasure to have, such a treat to have. So that is on my altar for cleansing, for later uses, for offerings. But I have a lot of more offerings here. I have an apple offering. An apple is for the dead. Food for the dead is also, both my grandmother and mother are teachers. So an apple represents a teacher. So it's all different things to represent my family are on here. This one is, that's my stepdad. Some graveyard dirt. Collected that. Beltane, actually, which was kind of cool, 2021. This is was kind of popped out this shell here, but this shell was collected by my grandmother, Eileen Humphreys. And this is my grandfather, Humphreys. I just collected some of his graveyard dirt. Though this is both, my grandmother was cremated, but her headstone, her name is, they share the same headstone, but they don't share the same resting place. So I kind of thought I'd have those two together. And I love me a good bone reading. I love my bones. Many of you don't know that about me, but I love a good bone reading. I made these about a year ago. I made my own set a year ago and added to it on the channel, and I have just been quite taken with these. It's part of my regular readings now. So one, I just thought it would look, I guess one I just thought it would look cool there, but I guess I use a divination quite a bit here. So what I like to do on a night like this, I like to pick some tarot. I just ask for a general if there's any messages that would like to come in. I have 3 cards here. I just recorded it, but I want it being quite personal. So I'll just let you know to your own interpretation. I had the Queen of Wands, some Bospis energy, yeah. The Star card, divinely guided, and the Queen of Pentacles, also a nurturing financial energy. So we can pick some cards from tarot, from oracle. We could read with pendulum. We can do different divination. I'm also going to pick from one of my favorite decks. It's called Work on Self. I'm also going to ask for 3 cards. Now, you could use any form of divination. I love my bone divination, especially on nights out. You could ask your ancestors questions like any night of the year. But of course, on Samhain, it is a thinner veil to the other side. So sometimes it's easier to get answers. Okay, I have 3 cards. I'll take these. Inner child. Creativity. Let's get artistic. Heck yeah. Spirit guides. Connect with me. Cool. And dreams. Pay attention to your dreams. I've had some crazy dreams recently. So after I set up my ancestor altar, I like to just sit and enjoy and reflect. I was just thinking about my chosen items that I put in my bountiful horn to represent my family and the people that were close to me, and then it just instantly I'm thinking about memories and the nostalgic memories as a young child with my grandparents. I could easily close my eyes now and meditate. I'm a medium as well, so I feel them. I feel them here. I feel their presence. I am going to just sit for a while and meditate and allow the messages just to come in. This is a special time where you can just reflect, enjoy, be still. And even if you're not a medium, pictures, I call them, thought forms will come in. Memories, this could be them. Leave yourself open to the possibility of just pictures and simple words. It doesn't have to be full-on sentences, just sometimes pictures are easier to receive. I thank you so very much for joining with me today or this evening, and I wish you a very merry Samhain and a happy Celtic New Year.